valuable. Let me start with a short introduction of myself. I did have an introduction, but I'm Amerasian. That means I'm half Korean, half American. And I did my undergraduate at UCSB. But probably today has a lot to do with language. And I worked at the Ewha Language Center as an instructor for 5 years, and I was like the director there for a number of more years. Maybe an interesting fact, my name is Bonyohan, but my friends have a nickname for me, it's Chibyohan. So anyways, but today I'm going to speak in English, and I think all of your English is good enough to follow. Let's begin. There's one more screen. Okay, you guys have the packet here if you can't see. Let's go to the beginning part. Here's the outline. So we're going to start off talking a little bit about adjectives and noun modifiers. And we're going to do a little bit of practice. And the second half of today is probably a little more fun. We're going to talk about synonyms and idioms. And we'll go, I think it should be a pretty fun class. Let's go to the next one. Can you see this or not? It's okay. Well, most of the important things are here, so just follow along. Well, here we have a list of adjectives. And let me just ask you, if you could have a vacation, out of all these words, which vacation would you want to have? Fantastic vacation, good. Any other vacation?
Wonderful.
Wonderful vacation, good. How about you? Great vacation. Which out of these is the vacation you would not want to have, maybe? Is there one? Well, I think all of them are positive, but out of these, we have the word nice. Okay? And nice is a nice word. It is positive, but it's also a little bit overused, and it's something that we say when there's nothing better to say. So let me switch it from vacation to something different. And let's go to something like a sogeting. You're going to get it. Some of you might be married. Maybe that's a little dangerous. But anyways, imagine that you are going to get a sogeting. Nice is no longer that positive of a word because it's usually something we say when there's nothing better to say. Well, he's nice, at least, or something. So there are probably a lot more attractive, colorful words you could use. So with your partner, discuss. If you were going to get a sogeting, what would you want to hear? This person is, okay, so instead of nice, around you have a circle here, write the words that you think are better, which would be more attractive for you in your sogeting. So on the first page at the bottom. Talk it out. Okay? And write it around the circle for nice. There's a circle here. Okay, can you share the words? What words did you put?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Very good word. Much better than nice. She wants to meet a gorgeous person. What else?
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Good. Anything else?
Interesting.
Good. Interesting person. Good. Any other words?
Glamour.
Glamorous. Important for some people. Anything else?
Intelligent.
Intelligent.
Attractive.
Attractive. Very good. Any other words? Okay. Oh, here are some that I just came up with, and some of them repeated. Gorgeous, or stunning, glamorous, attractive, sexy, charming, fabulous. Well, these are very, very colorful. And even words like pretty and beautiful are like nice. They're overused. And these words have a lot more energy and dynamism. And do you know why that is? We're going to get to it in the next part. These are mostly extreme adjectives. And in the introduction, I want to tell you, oftentimes in Korean travel brochures or the menu, the language is not wrong, like grammatically. They say this hotel is very good or the food is very nice. It's all right, but contextually, it's lacking the correct feeling. Be honest. Would you rather stay at a marvelous hotel or a very good hotel? Would you rather have a fantastic meal, or would you rather have just a good meal? Well, of course, the fantastic. Well, when every other brochure is saying a fabulous vacation, fantastic meal, delicious things, then very good, nice, pretty, beautiful, these words become very, very weak. And so I wanted to just talk about that, extreme adjectives. So that's going to be our first part. So if you can turn to the next page quickly. So the colorful adjectives are the extreme adjectives. Let me start with an example. Perfect is an extreme adjective. What makes an adjective different from a regular adjective? Well, take a look at perfect. Can you be just a little bit perfect? Is that possible? If it's with perfect, it's black or white. Something is just perfect, it's 100% correct, or it's wrong. Okay, so perfect is an extreme adjective. And we cannot say it's very perfect or a little bit perfect. Perfect is perfect. It's at the extreme. It reaches it or not. Well, let me give you a better example that's easier to understand. So let's look at the words hot versus boiling. And let's talk about this room. Is this room hot? Maybe a little hot? Okay, well let me just get a little thermometer to the side. So let's talk about room temperature. Vocabulary-wise, can we say something is a little bit hot? Is that possible? It's a little hot in here? Yeah. What degree would be a little hot? Well, that sounds hot. Yeah, but about 25 would probably be, it's a little hot in here. And then what about hot? If we want to say, wow, it's hot. I think you're from Hawaii or something. Okay, well, maybe with 30 degrees, oh, it's hot. And then could we also say very hot? We can say very hot. And what temperature would that be about? Okay, about 35, okay, if you're from Hawaii, like you're 40. Correct. So we can, with a base adjective, have degrees. It can be a little hot, hot, very hot. This is not the colorful extreme adjective. Boiling is the extreme adjective. Well, if this room became 100 degrees, and like a jinjuribang or something, we would be taking off our clothes, the word to describe it is, wow, it's very, 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 very hot, or something. But that's inadequate, so we have another word. The word is the extreme. So if it goes up to 100, it's boiling. Okay? And imagine a pot. If you stick your hand in there, it doesn't matter if it's 99 degrees or 101 degrees, boiling is boiling. Okay, so once you get to the extreme, you are already there. Very and little, they do not matter. Okay, so let me give you for hot, we use very hot, but we cannot say very boiling. Okay, so once you get to the extreme, we use a different word. Absolutely, okay, because it's an extreme adjective. So look on the second page. Let me go to this chart. I'm going to give you a little bit of exercise. So here we have very, and we also have absolutely. So this is for very plus the base adjective. Very hot, but for the extreme adjective, we have to use absolutely. So absolutely boiling. Okay? So let's do one example together. So these are adjective pairs. Let's go to the next one. So cold, and you have a list. It's all mixed together, base adjectives with extreme adjectives. What is the extreme adjective for cold? Look at the chart there. Freezing, correct. So we have cold, but we also have freezing. Well, this one we have to say very cold. And for this, we don't say very freezing, we say correct. Absolutely freezing. Okay, so you find the pair, hot, boiling. There's a logical link. This is the extreme degree. Cold, freezing. Okay, shall we do one more together? The next one has two. Let's look at good. Can you see a couple that are extreme examples for good? So we can say very good or absolutely. Look at the list from the box here. Are there some words that are maybe the extreme version of good? Both of them start with an F. Look at the box.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Correct. Very good. Absolutely fantastic. Or there's one more for this one. Fabulous. So both of these, fabulous, fantastic, are an extreme version of good. They are much more colorful. Okay? Let's do one more that's easy. What about big? Is this base or? Correct. So we say very big, absolutely huge. Okay, so quickly with your partner, see if you can match. Put the base adjectives here, put the matching extreme adjective on the other side. Okay? If you need help, I'll help you. A little bit of time. Put it together. So I'm going to give you the adjective, you give me the stronger form. So what about clever? Is that base or extreme?
Base.
Good. It's, first of all, it's base. So we say very clever. Wow, your daughter is very clever. And the pair is absolutely
Brilliant.
brilliant. Good. So clever, brilliant. Okay. Let's go to beautiful. Base or extreme?
Base.
Okay, so let's start with beautiful. Correct. It's a base adjective, so we say very beautiful. But the extreme is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so ladies, would you want your future husband to say you are beautiful or you're gorgeous? What do you want to hear? Gorgeous is much, much better. Okay. What about tired? Very tired, absolutely exhausted. Oof, you can't even stand. Let's do another one. Very funny, a joke, absolutely
Hilarious.
hilarious. Very good. Very frightened, absolutely
Terrified.
terrified. Very pleased, absolutely correct. Absolutely delighted is much stronger than pleased. Okay. Very interesting, absolutely starts with the F. Very pleased. Correct. Fascinating. So pleased and fascinating is a match. Okay, what about dirty? Your room is very dirty.
Absolutely.
Absolutely filthy. It's a pigsty. Okay. Bad, there are two. Think about a bad taste or smell. Very bad. Absolutely
Awful.
awful. What about taste? Absolutely disgusting. So both of those work with bad. Okay. Surprising. Very surprising. Absolutely
Incredible.
incredible. Very good. And one more, I think, silly. Very silly. Very silly. Absolutely
Hilarious.
ridiculous is probably the better match. Hilarious is similar, but a little bit different. And then there's one word where there was no match. Which one did we find no match? Oh, wait. Priceless there is, actually. Is priceless extreme or is it a base?
Base.
Correct. Actually, priceless does not mean it's cheap. It means it's so valuable that we cannot put a price on it. Like a Picasso painting is priceless. If it was destroyed, we cannot replace it. So valuable, very valuable, absolutely priceless. Oh, sorry, I skipped that. There's now one more that we haven't done. One word is left. It starts with the R near the bottom.
Right.
Correct. Right. Well, think about it. Is right a base adjective or is it an extreme adjective? Actually, if you think about it, it's like perfect. You're either right or you're not right. You're wrong. Okay, so actually, right is an extreme adjective. You shouldn't say you're very right. You're absolutely right. Okay, is that or not? It reaches the extreme or not. Well, these extreme adjectives are much more colorful. And when you talk about your teacher, oh, my teacher's very good, that means he's so-so, actually. Words you should use is, wow, he's just fantastic. He's a fabulous teacher. He's brilliant. I don't know how he came up with that genius or something. Those words are much better. Let's have a practice putting in this into practice. Let's see. The Oscar ceremony. Why do people get Oscars? This is an Oscar. Why would you get an Oscar? Correct. Either the best movie, best actor, best actress. So, you've seen a few of these ceremonies on TV. Is that correct? How do they dress? In their jeans? Well, the whole world is watching. They put on their tuxedos or expensive Chanel. This is like the happiest moment of their life. Millions of people are there to congratulate them. And the best example is, they call your name, you're excited, you go up onto the stage. Well, your excitement and gratitude, the language has to match. And if you listen closely, yeah, there's a lot of intonation, but this is not what they say. I am pleased to receive this award, or I'm happy, or something like that. It's not strong enough, actually. So here, especially at the Oscar ceremony, they have to use extreme adjectives to show their true feeling. Okay, so look at this. These are too weak. We must change it for a much stronger word. So if at the Oscar ceremony, they don't say, I'm quite pleased. What would they say? I'm absolutely pleased. Look on your list from the page before. Right there. Pleased is, what's the match? Correct. And they don't only say that, they put on a lot of intonation. I'm absolutely delighted to receive this award. And the word they choose is really so much stronger than I'm just happy or pleased. Okay, so with your partner, practice. You have the extreme adjectives here. Change the underlying words for the extreme adjective. Okay, work together. If you haven't finished, don't worry. Let's do it together. So the first sentence, quite pleased, we changed to absolutely delighted. I'm absolutely delighted to receive this award. Can you read the next sentence? And imagine that you just won an Oscar. You're so excited and happy. I am.
Absolutely great.
Good. I'm absolutely or extremely grateful to. Good. All those gorgeous, all those wonderful people who. Okay. Good. Can you do the next line? Kisses. Very good. Do one more. Good. Fantastic film. Correct. Can you do the next line? Nobody. This one's kind of hard. Really, maybe possibly, or some word like that probably works for the first one. So nobody could have possibly. okay, or possibly, or I think that one's a little bit hard. That's actually an adverb. But keep going. So, nobody. Ooh, silly, ridiculous, boring and ridiculous. Big success. Nobody could have foretold it would have been such a huge success. Okay, there's a big thing. Can you go on with the next one? They have been.
They have not been put absolutely wrong.
Correct.
Not particular thanks to Marriott my awesome director,
Good.
Julian Roche, my wonderful co-star.
Good. Wonderful co-star. Can you finish the rest? Can you try the next one? Roger. Roger Sims.
Well, thanks for writing such
Funny. The thing was hilarious, right?
incredible story.
Good. Incredible story. I absolutely adore you all. And he gets the award and everybody is clapping for that. Okay, so it's very, very important. You use extreme adjectives when you're writing a brochure, talking about someone. It's much more dynamic and lively. We'll turn to the next page. Adjectives, when you have many, you have to think about the order. So the next part we're going to talk about is adjective order. Well, the most important rule, opinions come before facts and description. Okay? Well, delicious, that's an opinion. Okay, somebody, it's not a fact. Okay, but a Korean meal, Korean is a fact. It's a description. So here, it comes before. That means it's further out from the noun. So here's the noun building. Funny old buildings. So funny is the opinion. It's your opinion. So it comes further away, whereas an old, I think that's more a fact. It's a description. Okay. A terrible little boy. Nice new clothes. Okay. So this is the general rule. Opinions are farther away. They come before the facts. Well, if you have a lot of adjectives, we also have to get a little more detail. So of course we have the opinion here, but other adjectives come in this order. So let's start here. First of all, you have the noun, and then we have the purpose. Often it's a compound noun. You never break the compound noun apart. Like a flower pot or a coffee cup, we would never break it. Okay, so here for compound nouns, it shows the purpose. It's always closest to the noun. Then we have the material, origin or place, like Korean, the color, and then size, age, shape. And this is the order. Let me give you a couple examples. So not all descriptions has everything. There may be some missing, but that's the order if you have it. Okay, so the first example, old, that's the age, old red Spanish leather riding boots. And that's the compound noun. Here we have long green American plastic garden hose. So all of these are adjectives, but in English there is an order that they have to go in. Okay, so this is the chart. Why don't we try it, the first one. So look over here. So I have some words here. The main noun is vase. Okay, so let's start over here. So from vase is the noun. So first of all, give me a word that shows the purpose, the compound noun. Which would come closest to that from this list?
Flower.
Correct. Flower. So this is a noun, but it's used as a compound noun to modify vase. So we have a flower vase. Okay, let's go one more. What about material? Can you find a material in there? It's a little bit difficult, the word. porcelain. Okay? Porcelain is a type of ceramic. It's very glossy on the outside. So correct, we have a porcelain flower vase. That's the order. Okay? Well, let's add one more. Is there an origin or place?
Japanese.
Correct. So we have a Japanese porcelain flower vase. And then, what about color?
White.
Good. White, Japanese, porcelain, flower vase. It's getting very, very long now. And then what about, is there size, age, or shape here?
Round.
Good. So we have a round, white, Japanese, porcelain, flower vase. And I think that's the only one. What about, is there another age? Something that has to do with the age?
Antique.
Correct. Okay, so antique, round, white, Japanese porcelain flower vase. And then, is there an opinion within the list? Exquisite means perfect and delicate. It's kind of wonderful. So good. We have an exquisite, I forgot. Exquisite, antique, round, white, Japanese porcelain flower vase. Well, this, of course, is a little bit of a comedy. There are too many words. But if you wanted to describe it, that's the correct order it would go in. Okay. We have a little more practice. So we have exquisite, antique, round, white, Japanese porcelain flower vase. We have a practice, and this is actually a very, very important skill. It's called sentence expansion. And you start, let's start with B. You start with the simple sentence. A lady suddenly arrived. But now we add descriptions one at a time to the sentence. Okay, well, do you remember the order? If you have to look at your chart, look at the chart. There's no compound noun. Well, first of all, is there any opinion here?
Often.
Good. Funny is an opinion. What about old? What does that go for?
Age.
Okay. And then what about little?
Size.
Size. So size goes before age, so we would put that in, and adjectives come before or after the noun? They always come before the noun. Okay, so all of these words are adjectives. They come before which noun? Well, the lady. They're talking about the lady. Okay, so the short sentence is a lady suddenly arrived, but then the expanded, more descriptive sentence is a funny little old lady arrived. Okay, let's do one more together. The first one. He gave us some bread. Well, all of these words describe bread. So here, we have to put these words, but put it in order.
Delicious.
Correct. This is what? Delicious is
Opinion.
opinion. So he gave us some delicious bread. We'll add one more. What's brown?
Color.
Color. So he gave us some delicious brown bread. And then what do we have? Homemade. It's a little bit difficult, but it goes with the purpose. He gave us some delicious brown homemade bread. And that's the order it would go in. Okay, so if you have this chart, it shouldn't be too hard to fill out the rest. Okay, let's try this. Maybe not all of it, but let's try this. Okay, so the man walked along the road, middle-aged. Can you put that in there? Read it for us. John? Read it for us. The middle-aged man walked along the road. Okay, can you try that led from the station to the home? Can you make it longer? Add only that. So we have the middle-aged man walked along the road. Can you start from the beginning? The man, the... Oh, give us, we're adding only one piece of information. So middle-aged man walked along. Good. And you in the back, can you try add slowly? So her sentence is good, add slowly into there. The middle-aged man.
The middle-aged man that led from the station.
Oh, she said it at the end. The road that led. So the middle-aged man. We want to add slowly.
The middle-aged man walked slowly along the road.
That led.
Led from the station to the home.
Good. And you can have slowly walked or walked slowly. Both are okay for the adverb. Correct. The middle-aged man walked slowly along the road that led from the station to his home. We want to add exhausted after a hard day's work. Can you try that? Oh, we want to go exhausted. Add that one. Well, let me give you a hint. Exhausted is probably best to put it in the very beginning as the hint. So exhausted after a hard day's work, comma, the middle-aged man. Give us one more information. Slowly walked. Slowly walked along the road that led from the station to his home. Okay, well, what about wearing a crumpled suit? Where should that go? Before or after man? After. And what about and carrying a briefcase? That is also a participle phrase. It's a verb phrase. Good. After. Also after. And then the last pausing can come at the very end. So the long sentence, if you got it right, is very long. Exhausted after a hard day's work, comma, the middle-aged man, wearing a crumpled suit and carrying a briefcase, walks slowly along the road that led from the station to his home, pausing only to look up at the night sky. Okay, well, this is a little bit of a comedy, but let's try one more before we take our break. Let's do this together. So we have a simple sentence. A lady was sitting in her garden. Well, let's do this together. First of all, let's pick her age. How old do you think she is? Is she around 40, 50, or 60? Pick it. Any age is okay. So we start with the simple sentence. A lady was sitting in her garden. Well, first of all, let's modify lady. How old is she? Okay, let's say 50. So 50 years old, we can make a number adjective. A 50-year-old lady. What's she wearing? What is she wearing? Is she wearing training or some kind of dress?
Bikini.
Bikini. Okay. 50, yeah, maybe pink sweater sounds better. Maybe a summer dress or something. Okay, good. And then we can, summer dress, well, we use the what? The verb phrase. Wearing a pink sweater. Well, what else does she look like? Does she have a hat? Maybe a straw hat. We can say in a straw hat. Well, what about the garden? Tell me more about the garden. Is it a flower garden or a vegetable garden? Okay, let's make it a vegetable garden. Good. And what else is in the garden? Is it big or small, the garden?
So
Big. So big is huge, right? And where is she, how is she sitting? Where is she sitting? In a chair? Okay, leisurely sitting in a chair. That sounds good. So already, the simple sentence, a lady was sitting in her garden, we can expand it. Okay? We can say, the cheerful 50-year-old lady wearing a pink sweater and in a straw hat was leisurely sitting in a chair overlooking her huge vegetable garden. in the rain, or something like that, okay? So that is the skill, where you start with something very simple, but there's not much description, you make it longer and longer, okay? Let's look at the fourth one. The general inspected the soldiers. Okay, we're going to take a break after this, but see if you can add information. Of course, you can bring adjectives, you can bring a compound noun, you can bring preposition and verb phrases to make this better. So let's make this simple sentence. The general inspected the soldiers. The last one, make it longer, put in a lot more description, maybe a little bit of comedy if you want. All together. Well, first of all, this one's actually hard. I bought a shirt. Well, what should it be? Did someone get the answer?
I bought a blue and white striped silk shirt.
Good. The stripe was hard because it comes after the blue and white striped. So I bought a blue and white striped silk shirt, the material and then the noun. Let's go to the next one. He was smoking a cigar. Who wants to do that? Revolting means nasty, terrible, awful. It's your opinion. So he was smoking a revolting. Correct. A revolting fat Havana cigar. Fat is the size. Havana is the origin. Good. Let's go to the racket. Want to try it in the back? Want to try the tennis racket? Well, what's the opinion here? Great, that's the opinion. New is the age. Tennis is a noun, so it's the purpose. Tennis racket, you don't split that up. Metal is the material, so what should it be? I've got a opinion, great, new, metal, tennis racket. I've got a great new metal tennis racket. And because of this order, it's easy to figure out. Well, what about the next one? She was wearing a dress. Can you try that one for me? The dress? Ah, plain. Plain means kind of, what does plain mean? 평범한 is a good translation in Korean. It's kind of bland. Okay, so it's actually that's the opinion. So she was wearing a plain. What is summer? It's a noun. So actually that goes with the purpose, summer dress. Okay, so she was wearing a plain cotton summer dress. We wouldn't split up the summer. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Thieves stole a painting. Can you do that one for me? Did you get that one?
Thieves stole. Deep impressionist, is it purpose? I don't know.
I think
Impressionist.
I think French and Impressionist goes together. So French Impressionist.
Thieves stole. French impressionist, priceless painting.
Okay, well, what is priceless though? It's kind of an opinion though, actually, because there's no price. So it's actually a priceless French Impressionist painting. Okay, and the next one. Let's skip the next one. Let's just do one more. He introduced me to his daughter. He introduced me to his pretty little, good, pretty little 10-year-old daughter. That's why we have that in English. It's because of this order. Well, as you saw from the Japanese flower vase, if you have too many adjectives, it becomes like a comedy. So actually, there are other ways we can modify nouns. First of all, we've seen the compound noun, tennis racket, flower vase, summer dress. So it's two nouns used together. The first one shows the purpose. Traffic lights, Well, what kind of lights are they? It's the type that directs traffic. Toothpaste, paste for cleaning your teeth. So that's one way of modifying. Besides an adjective, you can use a noun to modify nouns. Another way, number adjective. They're also called plural expressions. Well, we just had the 10-year-old daughter. Do you remember that? Oh, we have another similar one. 15-year-old girl. Well, the important thing to remember is, how old is she? She is 15 years old, but we make it singular when it's used as an adjective. So look at this. A 15-year, there's no S, old girl. Okay, so that's the only thing you have to be careful about. So this, it's a number changed into an adjective. It's a plural expression. A 15-year-old girl, a 10-mile walk, $10 bill. There are a lot of these using the number. The price, maybe a $50,000 job or something, $50,000 a year job. This is also very important. Prepositional phrases. These come after the noun, but it's a very good way to give variety. So instead of using many adjectives, you can also, with preposition, a man with a gun in his hand. Well, with is the preposition. It comes after the noun, but it's a good way of also adding information. And notice this, lady in red, dressed in red. Well, we can add the color instead of an adjective using the preposition. And the last one is called a verb phrase or participle clause, is the technical word. They also come after the noun, and they are not the main verb. Okay, so look over here. A girl wearing green pants. A book written by a friend of mine. All of this gives extra information about what kind of girl, what kind of book this is. So instead of just relying on adjectives, it's a good practice to balance using these other ways of modifying the noun. Okay, so here we have another practice. We're going to take a break pretty soon, but let's do this and one more practice. And let's see. So here, use one of these four methods: compound noun, number adjective, prepositional phrase, or the verb phrase to modify this. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Again, sentence expansion. When you're writing, start with a simple sentence. He bought a house. Well, we don't know what kind of house it is. Well, look over here. Can we make a compound noun with this? Do you see another noun in the list? What kind of house was it? Do you see one? Is there another noun after? Well, this one, farm. So we can say a farmhouse. Okay, he bought a farmhouse. Well, we can also use these, but use one of the strategy. Make a number adjective, or use a prepositional phrase or verb phrase if it's appropriate. So how can we make this more descriptive? Tell me more about the farmhouse. 3 acres of land, how can we add that? Try prepositional phrase. What preposition would work the best? Probably with, right? And preposition comes before or after the noun? It comes after. So he bought a farmhouse with 3 acres of land. Okay. What about 80,000 pounds? Well, we can make a number adjective. Remember the rule? We drop the S. So what would we say? 80,000 pound. And this is an adjective now, so it comes before. So he bought an 80,000 pound farmhouse with 3 acres of land. Okay. There are other ways to do the same one. You can say he bought a 3-acre farmhouse for 80,000 pounds. So you have a little bit of leeway on how you want to express this extra information. Okay. The next one is a little bit easier. Let's look at it. A girl came into the room. Well, first of all, 12 years old, let's make a number adjective. Okay, the plural expression. So how would we do that? 12 year, no S, 12-year-old girl. A 12-year-old girl came into the room. And how do we change this? She was wearing a clown outfit. You could use a preposition, but let's just use a verb phrase since there's a verb right here. Okay, so how would we say that? A 12-year-old girl wearing a clown's outfit came into the room. That's probably the best. If we said a 12-year-old girl came into the room wearing a clown's outfit, it's okay, but this will seem to modify this, so there will be a little bit of confusion. Is the room wearing the clown outfit? So it's better to keep the information closest to the noun. So a 12-year-old girl wearing a clown's outfit came into the room. But you're right, we can also say a 12-year-old girl in a clown's outfit came into the room. So you can use a preposition also. Both are perfectly fine. Okay? Let's do one more together. I need some nails. Well, 6-inch. We can kind of guess. We want a number adjective there, plural expression. Well, we can drop this, right? We can drop the long. So I need some 6-inch steel nails. And steel makes the compound so we don't split that up. I need some 6-inch steel nails. Okay? Well, let's try it. It's a little bit hard, I know, but let's try maybe what, 4 or 5. Let's do D, E, and F. If we have time, do a little bit more. Because of time, let's go on. Let's take a look at it. I'll help you. So Concorde is a plane. Well, first of all, what can we do with passenger? It's a noun. We can make a compound noun. We have cargo planes and passenger plane. Good. Concorde is a passenger plane. And then here we could put this in. Concorde is the fastest passenger plane in the world. A little bit hard. What about this one? Have you seen those knives? How can we do that? Swiss. Have you seen those Swiss Army knives? And then what about gadgets? How can we add that information? Let's use a preposition. With is the best. Okay, so have you seen those Swiss Army knives with gadgets for everything? Let's try the next one. So we start with a simple sentence. She's a lecturer. Well, give more information. What kind of lecturer? Good. We can say economics lecturer, or you can make a preposition. A lecturer of economics is also possible. What about Bristol University? Correct. At is probably the best way. She is a economics lecturer at Bristol University. But you can also make this an adjective. She's a Bristol University lecturer. That's also acceptable. And then what about this? Much respected? Well, that's an opinion, right? So it goes in the beginning. She's a much respected lecturer of economics at Bristol University. So adding all of this, we can use, instead of adjectives, other ways to modify it. Okay? Now let's do the last one. We had a meal. Look at it. Good. 4-course meal. We dropped the S. Splendid is what? Opinion. So it goes in the very beginning, before the word. And 4-course will become an adjective. And then less than 15 pounds. 4 less. We use a preposition. And then 2 bottles of wine? With. So we put it all together. We had a splendid 4-course meal with 2 bottles of wine for less than 15 pounds. Okay, so it's hard to put it all in, but starting with this one by one, it becomes easy. Well, sorry, it's a lot of schoolwork. Let's do kind of a game using this with your partner. Let's put it all together. If you can't see it, it's on this sheet. So here's the simple sentence. The man walked along the road. With your partner, down here we have lots more information. And I want you to play a game. Each time, add one more phrase. So let's do the first one together. First of all, middle-aged, what is that? It's an adjective, so where should it go? Put it into here. Correct. So middle-aged, we'll put it in here. The man walked along the road, then your partner makes it longer. The middle-aged man walked along the road. Keep adding one more, and it's a little bit of a comedy long sentence, but see if you can put all of these into there using the rules that we learned. Okay, so try it. And if you're wrong, it's okay. It's a very, very long sentence. But there's probably one way to make one long sentence, which is the clearest and not. We'll read what you have. Let's do this, and then we'll take our break. So the general inspected the soldiers. That's the simple, short sentence. Can you, in a loud voice, give us your expanded sentence? What did you get? Make it longer and more colorful. Serious. Loud voice.
The old general wearing blue shirts and pants inspected the young soldiers entered the army by now
Very, very good. So it's the old general wearing a blue shirt and pants. Inspected the young Korean soldiers. We're right in. Good. Do you have one? Loud voice.
The foreign Korean general with a serious face, with a funny hat, wearing a green uniform with a funny hat, solemnly inspected the serious soldiers.
Okay. Solemnly inspected the, what kind of soldiers? The serious soldiers. Okay, they're in a serious mood. Good. One of you want to try? Give it to us. Loud voice.
The great old general wearing a black green uniform with white and blue striped hat inspected the soldiers standing on the big ground from Germany in the morning.
Ooh, in Germany in the morning. Good. Lots of description about the clothes and what they're wearing. Okay. How about you? Do you have a sentence you want to share?
The big, huge, snuggish general inspected rotten soldiers.
Okay, good. One more and then we'll finish. Anybody? Does anyone want to? Volunteer. One more and then it's the break. Loud voice.
The handsome general standing in front of the door cautiously inspected the female soldiers sitting on the chairs.
Ooh, the female soldiers. Okay. Well, all of this is very, very good. So when you start with a simple sentence but begin to add information, use the variety of methods, not just the adjective, all of these. Okay? Let's take a break, about 10 minutes, and when we come back, there's a little bit more about language, synonyms and idioms. I think that will be the most fun for today. Okay, so thank you for your time. Getting out of the way. Okay, I think the second half will be, actually it's only about 30 minutes, so give me your attention. Yeah, turn to the next page. It should be synonyms and collocation. Well, first of all, to write descriptively, you need to get a lot of words, vocabulary, a lot of adjectives. The best resource is a thesaurus. And I really like the Oxford one because they have a dictionary and a thesaurus. What a thesaurus does, if you look up beautiful, it'll find similar words. Gorgeous, pretty, homely. So this is actually a very good resource. But now in the internet age, there are some free resources that you can use on your computer. So I put that there. Thesaurus.com. If you forget that, just remember dictionary.com, and then it's one there. So it kind of looks like that. If you go to dictionary.com, you press thesaurus, then you put in a word. You type it in big, and then you'll get some things. It's a little small to see, but you can try it at home. Huge, whale level, brimming. So they're fat, spacious. So there are all these things. And then there's another one. Merriam-Webster is a dictionary company. You look up beautiful, attractive, beauteous, lovely, pretty, knockout, alluring, appealing. So this is actually a very, very good resource when you're writing. If you're looking for some similar words, it's good to have a lot. But there's one thing to keep in mind, and that is something called collocation. So let's say we look up big, and often they'll give you the antonym too. So we have very large, large, small, and very small. It's over here. And then in your mind, it's important that you start grouping similar words together. Very large, colossal. What did we learn today? Very big, absolutely huge. So very large, colossal, huge. And then start putting that in your mind. Tremendous, gigantic. And then with big, big, large, wide, vast, majestic would go here, like a majestic mountain. It has the large thing. And of course the antonyms are important too. I'm not going to spend too much time, but the important skill is collocation. Once you get it from a thesaurus, all these words, be careful, because not all of them work for every noun. Let me give you an example. Let's go to the second one. So here we have some words for very beautiful. What did we learn today? Very beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. What else is here that means gorgeous? Enchanting, attractive, maybe glamorous. Okay, now what means beautiful? Similar to beautiful. Good, lovely, beautiful. Pretty is about the same. Maybe graceful, good looking, if it's for a man. Well, the important thing is collocation. So you have to keep in mind, not all of these words will work with all the nouns. So here is a cathedral. It's a church. Well, you can have a gorgeous church. Actually, it's okay, but maybe some other words might go better depending on the church. Maybe it's a very enchanting, or obviously, handsome church is very awkward. So that means it does not collocate. So that's the only thing you have to be careful for, and make sure that it naturally goes together. So let's do one. A city. Well, city is different from a person, but what could we use? We do say beautiful city, but gorgeous city, is that okay? It depends on the city, but you could use that. What else? Enchanting city, is that okay?
Attractive city.
Attractive works okay? Okay.
Glamorous.
Lovely. Well, the nuance is all different, but they all seem to collocate. Well, what about Marilyn Monroe? What words would you use to describe her?
Glamorous.
Glamorous. What else?
Enchanting.
Yeah, maybe enchanting is also good. But more than pretty, I think gorgeous or glamorous, those words work a lot better. So that's collocation, finding the best word to express the feeling, making sure it naturally fits for that noun. Okay, so a mountain, city, some food, a hotel might be different from a person. So just keep that in mind. Well, the last thing we're going to do today, which hopefully is the most interesting, and has to do with idioms. And idioms are actually very, very colorful. They really add poetry to language. And actually, if you listen to CNN, idioms are used all the time. And they're a little bit difficult because often the literal meaning does not match the figurative, metaphorical. Well, look at the bottom here, or look up here if you need to. Here's the definition from Wikipedia for an idiom. An idiom is an expression, it's a term or phrase, whose meaning cannot be deduced from the literal definition and the arrangement of its parts, but it refers instead of to a figurative or idiomatic meaning that is known only through conventional use. Wow, it sounds very difficult and confusing. Let me give you a simple example. Okay, well here we have the word kick. And of course, you know the word bucket. Okay, well, kick the bucket is an idiom. The literal meaning is what? If this is the bucket, you just kick the bucket. But if I say, my grandfather kicked the bucket, it has a completely different meaning. Does anybody know what kick the bucket means? Good, to die. So this is where the idiom, if they use it on CNN or someone, they probably wouldn't, but if someone says he kicked the bucket, you cannot think of the parts, kicking and bucket. Together, there's a new poetic usage, and that's what an idiom is. Okay, so the last part, I think it's important because I talked about the brochures for hotels and travel. They use a lot of extreme adjectives, but they also use a lot of idioms because it's very poetic and it's a lot more attractive than just stating that. Okay, let me give you one more idiom example. To put your foot in your mouth. Well, if you say something embarrassing, we use this idiom. I put my foot in my mouth. Well, literally, that's a little bit gross and it's maybe not possible for most people, but it's important to catch up. Aha, he made a mistake. So you have to learn the meaning separately. Foot and mouth may give you a hint, but it's not the meaning, putting the foot in the mouth. Okay, so let's go to this page with the cartoons. I think it should be interesting. So we have a list of idioms. These are the idioms we're going to look at today. Repeat after me. Get cold feet. Go through the roof. Bury your head in the sand. Have butterflies in your stomach. Break someone's heart. Break the ice. Fall head over heels in love. And be over the moon. Okay, well, I can tell you the definition, but I think it might be more fun for you to figure out the definition on your own. So, this is a literal picture of the idiom. Can you find one of the idioms at the top that means this? Good. Bury your head in the sand. Well, the meaning, the real idiomatic meaning is over here for bury your head in the sand. So let's look at that one. In B, the man with the newspaper, he is burying his head in the sand. But look at the second picture. What is he doing actually? Yes. It's a little bit hard to see. You may want to look over here. Well, first of all, what kind of situation is this? A man and a woman are kissing like right in front of you. Is that comfortable or very embarrassing or uncomfortable? It's an uncomfortable situation. And he's burying his head in the sand. He's going like this. So what is he doing? Can you guess the meaning? Good. He is completely ignoring reality and the embarrassing situation. And that's the meaning of bury your head in the sand. Okay, well, with the rest of it, you have the picture here. This is the idiom, and the meaning is here. Try to guess the meaning. Okay, and I think there are 7 more, but do your best. I think you can figure them out. So look over here. Talk it out with your partner. The meaning is the one right next to it. Okay? I'll go over it together. Match the idiom to the A column, first of all, and then look in the B column for the meaning. There's a hint. It's an illustration of the meaning. Two and 3 are probably easy. 4, 5. The rest of them may be a little bit harder. Shall we do it together? Because of time, let's look up here. First of all, number 2, what is the idiom? Break someone's heart. Well, I think you heard that before. But what is happening? If you break someone's heart, what are you doing? Well, who is breaking whose heart here? The woman or the man? Good. The woman is leaving him. They're probably lovers. And then the man is saying, okay, goodbye. Or how is he reacting? Don't leave me. Please come back, come back. Good. So she is devastating, turning his life upside down. Okay, so break someone's heart means you completely devastate someone. You hurt them by breaking up. Okay, well, let's look at this one. 3. What is the idiom there? Correct. Fall head over heels, your feet in love. Okay, so look at these two people. This is the meaning. We know falling in love, but what does it mean to fall head over heels? Do they love each other just a little bit? They're completely in love. Can they see reality? No, they can only see their lover. They lose balance or sense of any reality. Their life is turned upside down by this love. And that's all they can see. So it's much stronger than just fall in love. It means to lose sense of reality, be completely and deeply in love. Okay, it's getting a little harder. What about 4? What's the idiom for that? Kids, have butterflies in your stomach. Have you ridden a roller coaster before? A roller coaster? You have butterflies in your stomach when it's going down. Well, when else do you have butterflies in your stomach? What kind of situation? Well, look at the picture. Some clowns here. What are they about to do? Good. So how is he feeling? Scared, nervous. Well, if you had a very, very important interview, usually before that you have butterflies in your stomach. Or maybe, like for him, maybe some performance or recital. Maybe there are thousands of people. You get butterflies in your stomach. You just get nervous. So that's what that means. To get butterflies in your stomach, to be anxious and nervous before some important event. 5. What is the idiom here? Break the ice. Well, they are breaking the ice. Well, have you been in an elevator in Korea? Okay. Elevators in Korea are very, very uncomfortable because you don't know what to say or how to stand or who to look at. It's a very cold elevator, but we can have an icebreaker. What can you say to make the situation more comfortable? Hello. Or, excuse me, what floor would you like to go to? Or, what is the best icebreaker? What do we talk about? Look outside. What do we always talk about? The weather. The weather is always the best. Ooh, it's so cold, isn't it? Just that one word can make that situation in the elevator become very, very comfortable. It melts the ice. It breaks the ice. Okay, so here, that's what he's doing. They just met, but he's making the other person feel much more comfortable. Okay, so you're making an uncomfortable situation much more comfortable. Okay, let's go to the next one. Be over the moon. We have the moon. This person is over the moon, so they're flying. Well, here it says goal. Is he happy?
Yes.
Well, he's more than happy, actually. Think about Korea during 2002 World Cup. When we won that final game, were we just happy? We were screaming and yelling. We were ecstatic, in ecstasy. And that's what this means. Be over the moon. It means you're very, 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 very excited and extremely happy, which is you are over the moon. You're flying. All of Korea was over the moon. Okay, what is this one? And what does that mean? Okay, well look, someone broke the window and then this man is going through the roof. What's he doing? Good. Very, very, very angry. His face is red. Steam is coming out of his head. He's screaming and yelling, I can't believe it. So this is an extreme. Again, he went through the roof. He exploded or something. So that's what that goes through the roof means. The last one is the hardest. Get cold feet. Well, let's think about it. He's on this high diving board. And what is he thinking? How is he feeling? Scared. He has some hesitation. Should I jump? Everybody's looking at me, but I don't want to now, and I want to go back down. Should I? Yes or no? Yes or no? Well, that's what that means, the hesitation. Before a wedding, the night before, the groom and the bride, they always get cold feet. I have to live with this man forever. Maybe I should call it off and cancel it. That's exactly what that means. So, by using these poetic words, you can express these extreme feelings. Okay, and so they are very, very colorful. Well, the only rule, the only rule with idioms has a little bit to do with grammars. You have to know where the verb is, actually. So let's look back at the first list. Get cold feet. Only one word is the verb. What's the verb?
Hesitate.
No, there's a verb in here.
Get.
Get. So please put a box around get. Okay, identify it, put a box. Go through the roof. Where's the verb? Go. So you have to know where the verb is. Bury your head in the sand. What is the verb? Bury. Good. Have butterflies in your stomach. The verb is have. So please put a box around it. Break someone's heart. Break. Break the ice. Break. Fall head over heels in love. Fall. And last one, be over the moon. Be. Okay. Well, to use the idiom properly, yeah, you stick it into the sentence okay, but the verb must change to match the tense of the sentence. So let's look at the first one. When I won, here's a hint, past tense. When I won a trip for two to Venice. They got some kind of free ticket to Italy. How are they feeling? When I won? Well, what's the feeling? First of all, which one is it? Be over the moon is the correct one. So if you remember the World Cup, to be extremely ecstatic and excited. So this is the right one, but it doesn't match the grammar. When I won is past tense. So what is the past tense of be? Correct. That's how we use it. When I won a trip for two to Venice, I was over the moon. That's the correct one. Okay, let's do one more together. She doesn't want to hear about her husband and his secretary. Sounds like there's a scandal or affair. She just, look at the list of things here. No, it's different for this one. Correct. Bury your head in the sand. But be careful. We have a she, and what tense is this? Present. So she, present, we always add an S. So it should be not bury, but she buries. She always buries her head in the sand. She doesn't want to hear about her husband and secretary. She just buries her head in the sand. So we change your to her. Okay, well, the rest of them, you want to try it? I think you can do it on your own without me. Quickly match it, and then make sure that the verb matches the tense. Okay, let's go over it together. C, the party was very tense until Ian told some of his funny stories. This, break the ice, but tense. Correct. This broke the ice is the correct one. Good. They have eyes for nobody else. When they met, they fell head over heels in love. Very good. I was so nervous when I went for the interview for that job. I had butterflies in my stomach. My father will be furious when he hears that I've crashed his car. He will go through the roof. Correct. I didn't go on that blind date because at the last minute I... No. Good. Get cold feet and then got. Correct. I got cold feet. Last one. When I discovered he had been unfaithful, it
Broke my heart.
broke my heart. Very good. To finish, let's do something a little bit fun. Here is an advertisement. It's a little bit hard to see because it's not there. It says, head over heels, the diamonds of Tiffany. Well, you know the meaning of head over heels. It's head over heels in love. Very much, completely in love. Well, if you understand that, then this makes more sense. Why head? Why heel? Well, head over heels, it's love, completely in love. Diamonds of Tiffany. Let's do another one. This one's kind of hard. A bad haircut is a real can of worms. Okay. Well, if you look in here, there's a snake, but there's also some worms in here. Chigang, I guess. In her hair. A bad haircut is a real can of worms. Well, it's funny, but the meaning is a little bit hard to understand. But if you go here, open a can of worms means to create a whole new set of problems to deal with. Well, you had long hair, so you want to solve the problem, so you go to get a haircut. But a bad haircut has a worse problem. You open a can of worms. So here, a bad haircut is a real can of worms. It has this idiomatic meaning, but then there's more. Worms and snake is the Medusa. With Medusa, everybody runs away from you, and it has that kind of meaning. So, learning idioms, you can better understand the meaning of ads. Drop in during the week, Palm Springs. Well, drop in means to pay someone a short, informal visit. This was probably in an LA newspaper. Palm Springs is very, very close. So there are two meanings. Drop in, the literal, drop into our pool or hot spring, and then drop in, stop by quickly, the metaphorical. So often many of ads has this double meaning of the literal mixing with the idiomatic. This one's a little bit small, so I'm going to skip that. It's hard to see. This one is the last one for today. Don't just keep up with the Joneses, pass them. Well, this is for Porsche. It's a luxury car. To understand this, you have to know the idiom. Keep up with the Joneses. To compete with one's neighbors or associates in the accumulation of money or objects. To buy the same material goods they possess. You're competing with your neighbors. You buy a Grandeur, they buy a BMW, so then you buy. They go to Europe, so then you go to Africa or something. So it's competing. So that's the meaning. So here, it's a luxury car. Don't just keep up with the Joneses. Well, on the highway, keeping up, and you just pass them. But that's also on here. In your social climbing, you completely pass them. It's game over. Okay, so I think that's about it for me today. Today we studied adjectives, extreme adjectives, much more colorful. There's an order that adjectives go in. There are also other ways. We can use compound nouns, plural expressions, prepositional phrases. You can also use verb phrases to modify the noun. A thesaurus, finding synonyms. It's very important at this level. And lastly, idioms. Start adding these colorful, poetic phrases to your vocabulary. Every good brochure has lots and lots of idioms. It's a lot livelier and it's much more dynamic. Okay, well that's all for me. I want to thank you for being such a good class and good audience. I hope you enjoy your party later. And it was nice teaching you. Okay? Take care.